Hello everyone, welcome to my introductory video of Kingdom Hearts Union X, or Union Key, so it's known. I wanted to make a series of videos. This is going to be the first one. This one's just going to be for beginners and anybody who's just getting into the game. And I know I struggled when I first started playing because I didn't really understand what all the things did in the game, and it took me a few days to get to grips with it. And I watched a ton of videos on YouTube and I've got myself up to speed. And I've only been playing probably a week and a half, but I'm hoping that I can impart some knowledge onto anybody who's coming so they can just get up to speed relatively quickly and only have to watch a single video rather than all the countless ones on YouTube that they may or may not like. I mean, there's a lot of great ones out there as well, but there's a lot of misinformation, but information that might not be as relevant. So these are just notices that pop up when you start the game. So yeah, welcome, Kingdom Hearts fan, or not a fan, I don't know. Well, I guess you might know what the basic lore of Kingdom Hearts is, but I'm going to be talking about things as if you have played Kingdom Hearts before, but it should still be okay for beginners anyway. So the first thing you'll notice is when you come into this game, you'll probably get an intro and some little story text and stuff. Once you skip that and you've got onto this area here, you won't have all these people running around. You'll have just your own character, your own avatar moving around the screen. So one of the first things that I want to draw some attention to is the UI, the user interface. So these are all these buttons and the way things are displayed on the screen. In the top left, let's start here. Oops, not that. Excuse me, wrong button. So, itchy trigger fingers there. In the top left corner, I've got my avatar. If I click on that, it'll give me my sort of card, if you will. You can share that to Facebook if you choose, and you can show it off to your friends. It's pretty cool, that, actually. But from here, you can do anything you want to your character. So you can edit your titles, which are things like that. You can have 2 titles there. You can mess with that in your own time. You've got a message you can put up, so it just displays it. I've got For Hearth and Home from Final Fantasy 15 Kingsglaive. And here we've got playstyle. So this comes into play a little bit when you're being scouted for a guild, party, which is the term they use in this game. Same sort of thing, really. You don't have to put anything here, but I've put in I'm a casual gamer if I'm ever looking for a new party. Finally, here you've got outfits, so you're not locked into what you're wearing. You can unlock new outfits and change on the fly, and you can just save it down here. So that's relatively simple anyway. The next thing I want to touch on is experience points and levels. So for anybody who's played pretty much any sort of game anywhere, you'll know that there's a leveling system in most of them. Over here it says what level you are. I'm 130. Now I've probably been grinding this game, I think I played 3 days non-stop. And since then I've just played on and off, like an hour or so here and there. So leveling isn't that important. I wouldn't focus on it. I wouldn't grind any EXP or Lux, which is a currency for EXP or leveling in this game. So there really isn't any point because you don't seem to get any stat boosts or anything like that. I'm not really sure what it's there for, but it is. There's probably a reason. Somebody out there can tell me why. Fair enough, just comment below. The next thing is AP. So I'm fortunate enough to have joined the game when AP hasn't been an issue. Everything's basically free, so to speak. So AP costs, the way I believe them to be, is that for every quest you try to do, it will cost you an amount of AP. Let me open the quest log, quest book, whatever you want to call it over here, and I'll show you what I mean. So if I was to you see all these quests here. Over here you've got an AP number. I believe that's the cost it takes to play that quest. Now, as I said, it's free at the moment, everything's 0. But I imagine this won't last forever and everything will go back to costing AP. I think the system's been put in place to get you coming back day after day You can only play a certain amount at certain times, and a certain amount a day, I guess. But one of the important things to remember is when you level up, this AP gets completely refreshed. So you could, in theory, keep playing all day until you level 300, which I think is the maximum, at which point it will never refresh again from a level up bonus anyway. I believe it refreshes every day anyway, I'm not 100% sure on that. The next one, you've got jewels. So jewels are really important in my opinion. It's the currency to buy some of the higher level medals in this game. So you'll see down here you've got loads of offers coming up and loads of sort of quests and items, a HD Namine medal, and this new Sum thing that's going on, and some extra side quests there. But these things, they come and go. That's probably one of the best at the moment, Key Art 11. So the way it works in this game is these jewels can be obtained through story quests. Go into the quest book again. So whenever you finish story quests, every so often you'll get some jewels as a reward. I still haven't, I'm not 100% sure. Actually, I think you just get them for finishing certain quests. Over here it's got a list of rewards if you fulfill certain conditions during the battles. So you can't really see what these things are, but you can guess once you've got them a few times. And it's not really difficult for the most part to fulfill all these Mickey stickers, I guess you can call them, in one pass of the battle. It's quite easy for most of them actually. So for example, that says equip a certain Keyblade. This one says just complete without having to continue, so that basically means just don't die. Use 2 or more special attacks. I'll get into what that is in a moment. Defeat all enemies within 1 turn, and that's basically it. So let's go back onto home, continue with the navigation section. So next up here you've got a chat button here. It will show conversations within your party. So once you join a party you'll have that. You've got the menu up here, you've got home, you've got quests, equipment, avatar boards, medals list, shop, other, just normal stuff. Down here in the bottom right you've got presents. Presents are things that you'll get, such as login bonuses or anything Square Enix feel like throwing for free our way, which is always nice. Over here you've got the shop. Now this is where all the awesome medals can be purchased for jewels, as you can see. Now I wouldn't waste your jewels on a lot of these things because it's not as easy to come by jewels, in all honesty, unless you're willing to pay money, and then it's not a free to play game anymore. You can purchase jewels, and the way to do it is through here, and I wouldn't really recommend it because, I mean, as you can tell, for one of these jewel medal packs, 3,000 jewels for 10 medals. The medals in there, generally you might get 1 or 2 nice ones. The rest of them are sort of average, and you might not use them very often, if at all. So you'll have spent 3,000 jewels, which ends up costing, what, somewhere between there and there, so £15. I'm in the UK, so roughly around the region of 20 quid. And yeah, that's not really worth it, and you don't want to be doing that because it becomes a bit of a slippery slope, and that is actually, I mean, it's pretty much gambling, because the drop rates for the good medals isn't that great. But there are some ways you can take advantage of this system in the best possible way, and I'll try and give you tips on that. So yeah, so I mean, you can sell materials, but you don't get jewels for these things. You just get this thing called money, and money is only useful for upgrading medals. That's pretty much all it's useful for in this game. Increasing storage. So this is something that you'll end up coming across if you just start diving into the game and collecting loads of medals, and you'll get into a position where it says, hey, your bag's full, so you need to increase your storage, and it costs you 100 jewels just for 5 extra bag slots. Now I wouldn't recommend doing that. Again, I've heard that there are certain events that pop up where I think you get double the amount of slots for 100 jewels, or you pay, I think you pay half price for the amount of slots you get, or something like that. But I mean, I'm fairly new at this game, so I ended up spending my 100 jewels every so often whenever I'd have a bit of a capacity issue. So, because I mean, I don't like throwing medals away or getting rid of them because I was fairly new at the game and I didn't really know if I'd need them later, as you probably might feel as well. So I would recommend just keeping as many medals as you can, but when you hit this limit, hopefully you'll know more about the game and you can decide whether you want to keep your medals or trade them in or whatever. So that's the shop section done, and the next section we'll have a look at is probably, in my opinion, the real leveling system in this game, the avatar boards. So that's in the bottom left. Now what happens is, as you're playing story mode, you'll unlock these avatar boards, which is basically what they're called anyway. So let's click on one of them, casual blues. So say I'd freshly unlocked this. You start down here in the bottom left. You collect these things called avatar coins during your normal questing and your story missions. When you have these, you can spend them in here. So you'll notice this one here costs 25, this one here costs 45, this one here costs 15. So I would strongly advise, the only ones to buy for each board are these three: AP, cost, and a HP one, but there isn't a HP one in this particular board. But only buy these three because you're going to get the most benefit out of these without spending silly coins on things you'll never use, like casual blue gloves and things like that. It's something you'll probably never put on, and you've just spent a load of avatar coins on that for no reason. So it's basically it's the quickest way of getting better at the game and having more to just generally help you around in the battles and things. If you're just to buy the first three, in pretty much every board, the first three will be useful nodes, should we call them nodes. So AP will increase your maximum AP up here, and that will help when you when the AP system comes into play again. This here, cost. So cost, it says increase Keyblade cost capacity by 1. That's very important. So I'll show you what that is in a second. And HP is obvious, it increases your maximum HP. So cost, let's look at your Keyblade cost. So each Keyblade, this is the Starlight here, it has a cost value here. So if you'll notice, my maximum is 136. When you learn one of those nodes on the avatar board, it will increase that number here by 1. So what that means is you can equip more, you might in the long run be able to equip more medals onto this. So you'll see here I've used 108 out of 136. You cannot exceed that 136, and yours will not be 136 when you're starting out. It will be something a lot lower. But as your Keyblade levels up, and well actually no, I don't think your Keyblade adds this, but as you level up your avatar boards, you get a higher cost capacity there, and what that means is you can equip better medals. So just to give you an example of this, all these medals are arranged by strength, so the highest strength is at the top. So you'll notice here I've got 46 cost to put this on. I've used an item to get a 10 discount, but generally you won't have that to start with. So 46 if I was to put this on. If I was to drag this over here, it'd cost me 46 in cost. So you have to balance out. For example, that one costs 14. Which ones are you going to put on your Keyblade? Now, how you do that, it's in the beginning. It's just you can pretty much only use the 14s, and you probably only have the 14s to put on in the first place, and you probably have only 2 nodes here to play with, or 2 slots, if you will. So just, I wouldn't worry too much about that. The thing I would worry about is make sure that you're only learning the first 3 nodes from your avatar board to maximize your use of avatar coins, and that will put you in a really good position going forward, because then you can use higher level medals earlier and you can just kick some ass really. equipment. So we were on that screen already. Keyblades. So since we're there now, let's have a look at Keyblades. So as I said, you'll probably have 2 slots when you start this. There. So you'll have to excuse my voice. I've got a very dry throat and no water to hand. So I'm going to do my best here without dying. So what we've got here is Starlight. Starlight's the first Keyblade you get. It's not the best. It's okay. It's decent. I would advise leveling it up only to the point that it requires Orichalcum. Orichalcum is a very rare, it's a material, and the only way you get Orichalcum is for every 25 story quests that you complete, you get 1 Orichalcum. So, I mean, as you can see, I've completed, give me a second to get to the right screen. So I've completed about 200 and probably, what, 202? 201. So, I mean, you get 1 every 25 levels, so I've had 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah. And I had to use my fingers there. So, I've had 8 Orichalcums, and I don't know how many quests there are in the game at the moment, but I don't think there's more than maybe 300 or 400, so I wouldn't go overboard on spending those on entry-level Keyblades. So, by all means, level it up. You get Mithril Shards primarily through story quests. Probably only through story quests. So if you're running low on shards, do some story quests. Mithril Stones and all these things, you'll probably get through the extra and special quest sections. And you can see those rewards as you go through the menus and things. But generally, just remember that Mithril Shards only come from story quests. Orichalcum only every 25 levels. And only level up your Keyblade to the point where it asks you to like it says that you need 1 Orichalcum to level this Keyblade up, and I wouldn't really level it past that, in my opinion anyway. There are other people out there who might differ, but I'm trying to give you guys an idea of the fastest way to progress in this game without spending a boatload of stuff for no reason. So this is my second Keyblade, for example. You'll see that I've leveled this up to 16. And I mean, this is a Keyblade that I used an Orichalcum on, because at this point it says I need 2 Orichalcums to level up to the next stage, so I'm not doing that yet because I've only got 3. And I've got a few more Keyblades that are better than that, so I'm saving up to spend on those alone. So I mean, generally speaking, you can look at this. I'm at story quest 202. I'm at level 130. I've got my Starlight leveled up to 3, my Treasure Trove to 16, Radial up to 9, and again it's... Oh, actually, no, I can level this up. Oh, I missed that one. Might as well do that one. It's not asked me for Orichalcum again, so go ahead. There we go. 2 Orichalcum needed to level up, so I'm not going to do it anymore. You won't have all these Keyblades, so don't worry too much about it, but I'm just illustrating that I have followed my own advice. This is a bit of a daddy of a Keyblade here, but to get that you have to jump through some hoops. Let's start back here again. So, as you can see here, you've got unlock +4, unlock +11. So these things here only unlock at certain levels. So I'm not going to level that up. I was just trying to see if this... Oh, actually, yeah, it does. If I was to level this up, this here becomes unlocked. So, yeah. So what that means is each of these nodes, so to speak, are abilities you can use in a battle. So let's get into a battle and I'll show you what that means. This would be a lot easier in a fight. So let's go to quests. I just clicked home like a numpty. Just bear with me 1 second. So again, we'll go into story quests because they're the easiest ones to get to without explaining too much. So here you choose your Keyblade. Now this is something I didn't realize for a while, but over here you've got your left and right arrows over here, and the bottom one doesn't actually do anything at this point. but it does here, I think. Yeah, it lets you cycle through your quests. But once you've chosen one and you press begin, this top one will let you cycle through your Keyblades. So you don't have to go into equipment every time to change your Keyblade, which is what I was doing for the first day of playing. And then at the top left here, you've got a return button, which will send you back to that particular area of the quest menu. So now, over here, let's begin a battle. So you'll see this person's level 64. Something that's incredibly important in this game is this little thing here. Now, I forget the proper term, so forgive me, but there are 3 types. I guess normally I'd call them elemental types, but there are 3 gems. Yeah, let's call them gems for now. Gem types. So down here, you'll notice in the bottom left corner here, we've got a little rock, paper, scissors scenario here. So what it says is red is stronger than green. Green is stronger than blue. Blue is stronger than red. Now, what that really means is if you look here, this enemy here is green. Now, green means speed, so they're speed gems. Blue means magic, and red means power, I believe, or strength, something like that. Anyway, what this means is this enemy here is a speed-based enemy, so I want to really go in there with some power medals to have maximum effect. So you'll notice this Keyblade is primarily geared towards power, and you know that by looking at the little red glow around some of these nodes. So that one's red. Oops, not the medal itself, but the board behind it. It's got a red circle, and so is this one down here. That's because this Keyblade here is made for you to put more power medals on there. And so I'll get into that in a moment, but let's go to Starlight. So if I click on any medal, here we go. So we have Sora. Here it shows you what kind of medal it is, and up here. So it's a power medal. If I click on Tifa and Aerith, got red, again power, and the same for this one. So this one is magic, you'll notice. So Key Art 11 is magic, and it's represented by this symbol here. So you'll notice that for this, if I was to go in with this, I've got 2 medals that are strong against this type of enemy and 1 that is weak against this type of enemy. At this point it doesn't matter because this guy's level 64 and this medal is insanely, well, it's really good in my opinion, for beginners anyway. So if I was to go into battle, this is where your party comes into play. So one of the first things I would ask you to do is join a party when you join the game. And what this means is you can borrow one of their medals, one of the medals from your fellow party members. These are all my party members. These are all the medals that they're sharing. So I can just pick one of them. Like I like the look of this one. It's got 9,747 strength. It's got 5 yellow orbs, which you might not know what they mean, and a number 5 that's flashing there with a cool little pyramid-y symbol behind it, and 150% with a up arrow. Everything must be amazing. And it actually is with this one, but there are a lot that might have those things but aren't as good. But generally, if you find a party member who's been sharing something with 5 yellow dots in it, and he's got a flashing number here that's above sort of 4, if you've got a 5 or a 6 in there that's flashing, that is a really good medal to sort of pinch for your battles. It doesn't impact you the player at all. It's just a really nice feature, so you can borrow off somebody else without having high level medals yourself. So I chose to borrow this one. A big thank you to this person, Shoggoth. I don't know, I've never pronounced that before. But this guy has helped me in insane ways he doesn't even know. He's helped me power through quests I would never be able to do without it, and you'll see why. So a lot of these are fairly basic. Here's another good one, and there's our fearless guild leader, Ollie, or party leader. So he's sharing this one, which is a really high strength number. It's got 5 of these dots here. What these dots really mean is how powerful is your special attack. The more dots means it's more powerful. It's got a damage multiplier here, so the higher that multiplier is, again, the stronger it will be. Required gauges, that's something I'll go into in battle. And then you've got a few other things here that might get quite confusing at this stage. Skills down here, so these things activate when you're using this medal in a fight. So if you just tap the screen, things like attack boost will activate. If this said attack boost all, or something like defense boost all, you have to actually swipe on the screen to do an attack that will hit everybody rather than just a single attack by tapping. But I'll show you that in the battle tutorial in a second. So let's enter a fight with this medal because we're on it anyway. So skip some story, spoilers. So I'm gonna run around here. Anywhere you tap, your character runs. If I click here, I've entered a battle. It's my turn now. In the top left corner, you'll notice my HP, and you'll notice a special max with a number 9. So that is what they call gauges in this game, or gorges, depending where you're from. So if you look in the bottom left now, each of my medals, it only displays 2 at a time, but each of my medals there have a number next to them. This relates to their special attack. So I can actually just keep tapping the screen and it won't use any of my gauges. See? And it cycles through my medals in the bottom left corner, as you can tell. Now when you've used all the medals, let me press info here in the bottom left. I've got 4 medals there, including my friendship one, or my party one. So what happens is when you've used all of your medals, so 1, 2, 3, and then 4, it becomes the enemy's turn. And then it cycles round and it's your turn again. So you'll notice there that I was attacking one target at a time. That's just because I clicked. If I swipe in any direction, it will do a really cool AoE, area of effect sort of attack, so it'll hit everybody. So that's really useful on weaker enemies that you just want to spank and kill easily without having to constantly do this. But where this game really shines is its special attacks, and I can't stress this enough, it's amazing. So each medal has a different special attack. Some of them look similar, but they're slightly different. So for example, this one in the left here, this is a really cool medal that's being sort of, I guess, pushed out the door a little bit, because it's got a sort of special offer where if you buy a load of jewels, you get the opportunity to get these medals for free. I guess they're not really free because you paid for them, but it is what it is. So what that means is if I use a special, it's not going to use any of my gauges because that's a 0. So that's probably not the best example. Let's get rid of that. So Sora, you're going to use 4 gauges if I use your special attack. How do I use your special attack? All you do is you simply just click on Sora and drag to the sort of top right of the screen. So you do that. And there you have it. So it's used 4, and in the top left I'm down to 6 gauges. So I was on 9 and I'm down to 6. You might think, hang on a second, the math doesn't add up. Yeah, of course. Well, I was on 5. What happens is at the end of the battle, you get some of that gauge back, depending on how many enemies you killed and all sorts of, I don't know, calculations, I guess, behind the scenes. So you do get a little bit back, but generally speaking, during the fight, it will use how many gauges it says it's going to use. So this is the target enemy for this battle, so once I kill this enemy, the quest is over. So I'll use the 4 again. You'll notice the top left goes down to 2. Okay, so this guy is just dead. But that's basically how the battle works. So in the bottom left corner here, you've still got the little representation of the rock, paper, scissors functionality in this game. So here's all your rewards, and you get more rewards depending on how many Mickey stickers you fulfill for that battle. So these are these criteria here that I mentioned earlier. So that's basically it. That's it for battle. It's not really very complicated, but it does get more complicated when you start to look at the medals in particular. But here's something I forgot to show you. So the use of a friendship or a party medal. So early on in the game, you're going to run into people and you're going to get you're not going to do much damage with your medals. But what you are going to do, if you have a party medal, that's a good one. When you get to that one, use a special. It's insane. It just pretty much wipes the floor with so many targets, and you'll see the HP just get shredded off. And that will really help you in terms of your progression in this game. So I'm going to give up just to get out of there. So party medals, definitely get into a party with a good party medal. If the party doesn't have a medal that you think is good enough, by all means, I mean, leave the party. There's no real reason or commitment to stay in a party. This is the first one I joined, and I thought it was pretty awesome because one of the reasons was excuse me, Organization 13, and this little tag here, Simple and Clean. As you Kingdom Hearts fans will know, that's the title theme song from Kingdom Hearts 1. So this is my party and all the people in it, and these are the shared medals here on the right. So you can scroll through those and see what's cool. I mean, that one changes the music. That's pretty cool. So that's a special medal this person's obviously got, and they want to show off a little bit because anybody in the party can just use it. But the one that I selected further down is probably the strongest one in this party at this point. But there are some really good ones in this party now. So you want to find a party with some good shared medals, because that will help you a lot. So that's probably the best beginner tip I can give anybody. So there we are. And that's probably all the the beginner. It's quite a long video, I apologise, but that's a lot of the things that stumped me for a good couple of days, and I think that's something that will get you well on your way to progressing and getting on with enjoying the game. But definitely have a look at things like your avatar boards and upgrade those by just buying the first 3 nodes and things like that. The last thing I want to mention is there's quite a few things I still want to talk about, but I'll probably make another video because this one will get really long and quite confusing if you haven't digested everything I've already said. So what I will say is, when you join the game, if you have 3,000 jewels and you're eager to play, buy this top, or eager to have some really high level medals, buy this top one, or any one of the top ones at 3,000. Don't bother with anything below 3,000 because you'll just get a load of crap, to be frank. So anything 3,000 there, it is expensive. So my actual advice would be to keep an eye on Reddit for Kingdom Hearts UX, or just keep an eye on online to see what might be coming on Facebook, for example, what sort of deals might be coming and what people say about them, because there are a lot of really experienced players playing this game, and I still look to them for just to learn things, really, because they have a lot of useful info. For example, they might say that top packet or that top deal isn't really worth it because the medals aren't that great, or this one here might be more worth it. But here's something that you want to pay attention to. You see these details buttons here. If you click on one of them, they'll give you some really good advice about what's inside that pack before you buy it. So HD Namine is the name of the medal that they're trying to sell you here. So it says here, not only is she guaranteed within 5 draws. Now what that means is you actually have to buy up to 5 of these before you're guaranteed one of her, and that's insane. So I mean, you probably get up to 3,000 the first time you play the game quite easily, but after that it gets quite difficult unless you're willing to pay real money, and it's not a great option or a way to go about playing this game anyway, unless you've got tons of cash and you are immune to an addiction, which most of us aren't, let's face it. So that isn't one of the greatest medals or packs to buy. If I click on the top one here, let's click on details. So it says here, do we have any guaranteed draws? I don't believe it says anything about guaranteeing certain medals within a certain amount of draws. So it gives you details on what the medals are and what their stats are and their properties and all that sort of stuff. But the key thing you want to really look out for is what is known in the community as a mercy medal. So essentially, this is like gambling. So and the odds of getting a really good medal are damn near impossible in some cases. I mean, there was a Sephiroth deal here that I came in on. It had a Sephiroth banner up here and it said get HD Sephiroth, and it costs 3,000 medals and there's a chance of getting him. I probably pulled terminology is pulling in this game, I've realized. So a lot of people use it on Reddit everywhere. So whenever you buy one of these packs, you're essentially pulling 10 medals. So I pulled this pack here, probably about, not this one specifically, but the pack that was here, I probably pulled about 6 or 7 of them over playing the game a hell of a lot. I was just trying to get a hell of a lot of jewels over and over again. And I didn't get a single Sephiroth, and I probably only got four or five medals that I really liked or used. And that's a lot of jewels to spend. So what mercy medals are is things like this. For example, you are guaranteed this medal within 5 draws. Now that might not seem great, but the Sephiroth pack had a guaranteed Tifa and Aerith medal within 3 draws. So if I basically spend 9,000 jewels, I'm guaranteed a Tifa or Aerith, and there's a chance I can get it before then, but I'm guaranteed one on the 3rd try. And that medal is over here. So it's a good medal. It is a good medal, don't get me wrong, and I don't mind the fact that I had to draw 3 times to get this. But every single pull that I did after getting this medal just felt like a waste. So the way I would advise people to buy these packs is find one with a mercy medal, if you will. So no, not Overwatch, but this look for this little gold thing here to say that this medal is guaranteed within maybe 3 draws or 2 draws if you can. What that means is you'll spend a minimum amount of jewels just to get to that point where you get that medal, and then don't buy it anymore, because just save your jewels for a new event that'll come across in the near future with another mercy medal. So that way you'll maximize the best medals that you get in this game for as little expenditure as possible. And that, I can't stress that enough. Unless you've got money to burn, I wouldn't bother with anything else. If you were to basically just put a little bit of money into this game every so often, because I don't know, because you really love the game or you want to support the developers, which isn't a bad thing to do. I mean, I myself spent $10.99 on this game, and I'm not going to do it again for a good at least a few weeks, maybe a couple of months. But it's the unlockables were quite good, and what they were is, I'll try and see if I can show you what they were at the bottom here. So at the bottom you see you've got a HD nominee deal, some deal, and the one I got, it came up here as a KHux, this one. So this said you can buy this deal and it will unlock. Oh, it's gone straight into the quests. So yeah, so I don't know if I can bring this up, it's kind of tiny, but look where my cursor is. So it says here, get 4 KR11 medals. That's that Sora medal that I use quite often. You get 4 of those, so that's guaranteed. It says it's a limited time VIP bundle, and you get 1,400 jewels for it. So at the time, I mean, I paid was it $10.99? I got that, and what that meant is you get access to all these quests here, and each of these quests, or some of these quests, give you a KR11 medal. It's a really powerful medal earlier on in the game, and through doing these quests you also end up with 1,400 jewels. So you can use that towards buying more medal packs, so the 3,000 ones that I was referring to earlier. And it's one of the other important things it does is it unlocks the VIP quests, and I'll show you what those are. So if you go to the special or the events section, let's go to special. So in the bottom left here it says all special quests are available until Sunday. It's a rolling weekly thing, so you're going to get the best bang for your buck if you do it on a Monday, because then you'll have 7 days to play and use these quests before they time out and you're locked from doing them again. So I mean, you can grind them and get a lot of good items. Some of them are really hard, and that's where your party members medal really helps, and just getting to a point in the game where you have some good medals and well leveled up Keyblades plays a part, because then you can maximize the impact of your purchase here, because you can then at least go into some quests and actually get something back, rather than going into quests and just getting your bum kicked and just not managing to really make any progress and feeling a bit demoralized really. But yeah, so I definitely recommend, if you're going to do that, do it on a Monday. It's up here. Here's the details. So this was a campaign period. It may or may not still be available by the time you look at this video. Guaranteed 1400 jewels for those medals there. Here is the medal. So as you saw, it only uses 0 gauge cost, which is pretty awesome. And one of the things that I really liked about it is, I mean, ignoring the number of hits, for one turn, which is what you want to aim to killing anything in for the maximum amount of Mickey stickers, kill everything in one turn. It says for one whole turn, not just while you're using this medal, but for the entire turn of your Keyblade. So you use all the medals on your Keyblade. So if you've got 2 slots on your Keyblade, you use 2 medals. That is a turn. So for one turn, raises the strength by 3 tiers. So that's 3 plus strength on the next attack. And possibly even this attack, I'm not sure. Lowers targets PSM, so that's power, speed, and magic defense by 2 tiers. So it lowers any opponent's any opponent that you attack. It lowers their defense against those 3 elements. I'm calling them. They're not elements, but those 3 gem types by 2 tiers, which is really good. So it increases your strength and it lowers the defense of the opponent. And here's something that's really cool. Restores 3 gauges. So you'll notice that most medals end up using gauges. So they'll use 4 or 2 when you use them, when you swipe up to use a special attack. This actually gives you 2 back or 3 back. So it doesn't cost any, but it gives you 3 back. So you later on in the game, as you progress, you can get some really high level medals that might use 5 gauges, for example. And then if you equip this one just after that one in turn, what will happen is if you use both of their special attacks, you'll use 5 and then you'll get 3 back just by using that. So it is quite cool. So that's just an introduction as to how medals work in this game. But yeah, I mean, in events, I don't believe any of these are limited time, so you can probably do these anytime. But you'll know as to what's available. And I mean, these 3 things at the bottom here, probably even this, won't be unlocked when you first start the game. So don't worry about it, just do story. And actually, I can't remember, I think this might be unlocked. But give it a go, have a go, and just see how you get on. When you do unlock Union Cross, it's pretty cool. You get to play with the other people in your party and everywhere else, and you get to just tackle like a bit of a raid between you, which is really nice. And that's a wrap, guys. So if you're still here, wow, thanks for watching, and I really do appreciate it. It's taken me a long time to get this done. I'm going to get it uploaded, and I really hope it helps you, because these are some tips that I really wanted to share, because as I said, I had quite a bit of a learning curve to get into grips with this game, and I just wanted to give something back to the community really. And Kingdom Hearts is one of my favourite franchises, so I hope I helped. Yeah, so enjoy, and I will be putting up a few videos later on, maybe about medals and how they work and how you can level them up and evolve them, so keep an eye out for that. But at the moment, this is it, so I hope you enjoyed it, and enjoy the game.